This is a SABA Breisgau Automatic 125 chassis out of a sort of a radiogram type cabinet, which I don't think the owner has. This was sent across as a parts donor set. It's possible donor set for things like the motor and so on for another SABA I've been working on, Freiburg 7. Anyway, the owner asked if I could just power this one up and just see if it worked. He had some work done on it a few years ago. Somebody changed the motor caps in here. I think I'm probably changing electrolytic there. Apart from that, they rewound one of the motor windings, that one with the white tape around it. But then they gave up. Nothing else was done as far as I could see to the radio. Anyway, he asked me to power it up, but I was concerned that some of the capacitors were in bad shape, and one in particular was in really bad shape. That's the this one here. This was across the secondary of the power transformer, the suppressor capacitor. So I changed that one out, which is that little blue cap there. I put as a 1600 volt working capacitor there because it does get voltage spikes from the motors and so on. So that's been changed, but anything else is original apart from that electrolytic somebody changed previously in those motor caps. All the other components in the circuit I think are original. Anyway, I've been sort of slowly powering this up on a Variac. I'm using a Sencore Powerite over there, and it's now with a high voltage sitting at about 175 volts, which is lower than it should be, but I'm only applying about 90 volts AC to the line. Dial bulbs are working. You can see in the mirror over there, the main dial bulbs are working. I'm just going to turn the volume up. It's actually working at 90 volts. See if I can tune it. These chassis aren't the easiest to work on because they're not sort of a regular linear looking chassis. There's bits sticking out all over the place. In particular, the ferrite rod aerial down there is annoying and easily snap it. So it is just tuning. Both channels are working. It's a stereo output audio amplifier in this for the phono input, but it's not a stereo decoder in the tuner. Anyway, I'll wind the voltage up a bit more.
$1,000 or more. Ah, okay. So, and then through the whole deal.
So we're now at 200 volts B plus voltage. Turn the volume down a little bit. It's on manual tuning at the moment. I'll probably just try it on manual. Oh, by the way, that capacitor, that suppressor capacitor had about 300 microamps leakage at 400 volts on it, so it was pretty leaky. And I suspect most of these other paper capacitors, these are ERD ones, they're usually pretty leaky. And it's got a lot of smaller value electrolytics in the circuit as well, which are probably leaking a bit. So if the owner wants this to be functional, it needs probably about another 9 or 10 capacitors changed to protect the tubes and transformers over the long term, even if we leave the original electrolytics in there. Let's put the voltage up a little bit more. It's got a full 117 volts line voltage on there. The B plus voltage is sitting at about 220, which probably isn't too far off what it should be. I don't normally do this with radios. I usually just replace the paper capacitors, particularly if it's for somebody else's radio and they're going to be using it. I wouldn't like anything to fail and damage a tube or a transformer. So I usually just replace all the paper capacitors in one go without checking them. But in this case, the owner asked me to do this just to check it out, to see if it worked. and make a decision after he knows whether it's working or not. I'm not sure if the motor drive will work, particularly if it's upside down. We could give it a try.
It might be hard to imagine, but there's a place where you
I think you switch it on with this knob over here.
a place where you can eat like a king.
Yep, motor drive's working, sort of. Well, the motor's throbbing. Let's see if it runs. It runs, but it's not actually seeking. It should keep running until it finds a station and then stop. But it's not doing that. Sounds a bit rough. It works on FM then. I'll put it back onto manual tuning. Here's manual tuning. I think this switch is FM. Yeah, it's FM. And I'll try tuning the FM station. There's no antenna on it, so perhaps won't get anything. Nothing. Let's try bringing a piece of wire into the FM socket. Oh, made a difference.
From USPS, devoted to providing businesses with shipping options, working to help businesses avoid shipping challenges with USPS.
Yeah, it's working on FM as well. That's impressive.
/advantage. From Luminescence Foundation, dedicated to shedding light on neurological research focused on Alzheimer's and Parkinson's diseases and supporting land conservation initiatives. And from the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, helping NPR advance.
And still got the original selenium rectifier in there, selenium bridge rectifier. It's mildly warm. Power transformer, just mildly warm. So I've been powering it up over the last hour or so, very slowly, from about 25 volts line voltage right up to the full line voltage, to reform the primary filter electrolytics. In the Freiburg 7 they were really bad. I had to replace them, but these ones look as if they've reformed okay. Just check the current consumption. It's about 55 watts, which isn't bad at all. It's not drawing too much current.
88.9 KPM.
Actually sounds okay.
89.3 KVIX, Port Angeles, Victoria.
Connecting you to jazz, blues, and NPR.
This American Life is showing up this morning at 11 o'clock on 88.5 KMKX. Right now, 68 in Seattle. 15 minutes.
From CBC News, the world this hour, I'm Claude Faye. In Calgary.
The stress and the devastation this is causing is unnecessary and hurts all of us. We're outraged.
Angry WestJet President Diedrich Penn reacting to the decision by the union representing the airline's mechanics to go on strike. In spite of the fact the federal government...
Yeah, the tone controls are working as well.
The dispute. Now on social media, Labor Minister Seamus
Okay,
Reagan
so anyway, there we go. Initial power up of this Breisgau SABA chassis.
Meanwhile, the airline has